So can you choose a spiritual path?
If you're already on the spiritual path, what is there to choose? So that implies that you either have to know or not know you're on the spiritual path. And something as intimate a reality as that could be for an individual, you should definitely know if you're on the spiritual path or not. You could be suffering and on the spiritual path. You could be having a great time on the spiritual path. You could be suffering and not be on any spiritual path, and you could have a great time at the circus, at the amusement park, or at the evening, let's say, entertainment in the neighborhood center, and not be on the spiritual path. You need to know. Now, whether or not you can choose to be on the spiritual path, that's a different question. And only time can tell that. So, circumstances are right, you're going to choose to be on the spiritual path. If you know what the spiritual path is, then you can be on it. The spiritual path is not exactly a religious path, so religion has very little, if anything, to do with it. Although sometimes you have to be on a religious path to realize that the religious path in itself is not enough for you. And you have to go deeper to, say, a spiritual level. So, whatever that is.
Seems like still there's the matter of choice, and
it could be said that you choose not to know about it. See? And we'd have to call that a prior choice or an agreement made somewhere along the time track or before birth. It could be in the genes. You have to find it. You need to know where that is. Because you can make, let's say, a judgment on that if you speak to your ancestors, if you have any living ancestors. In my circle of influence, many have gone to their grandparents to find out things they really needed to know about why they picked this life and why they found the path in certain terms. And in these cases, the individual may not have known that they chose a path already. By choosing a family, they chose a path. By choosing a certain person as an elder, grandparent, great-grandparent, they chose the path, but didn't know it until they communicated with the elder, and the elder set them straight about it. Nothing really to think about. So, do you put yourself on the path, or does your family put you on the path? Does a disagreement with a family member, a powerful one, initiate the process of finding one's path? Does a breakup with a partner, companion, or spouse initiate that process? Does a catastrophic accident or mishap cause it? cause this initiation, this awakening. Any one of these things can do that. See? Shock you into recognizing that you have to take another course. You have to be on another path. See? Or create your own. See? Seeing that the results of the path you were given, or you inherited, or you thought you chose, is not the right path. Which is often the case for many. So they are confused which path they're supposed to be on. Because they know people who are supposedly on the path, but are they on the path? What path are we talking about? Right, the spiritual path. Is that before, during, or after the spiritual path shows up? Many speak of the spiritual path as something they've yet to do. It hasn't arrived yet. They haven't found out enough about it to know if they're on it exactly. What is it? Do you know what the spiritual path is? Does anybody in the room know what the spiritual... Stop! Wait, I'll drink with you in a moment. First, who knows what the spiritual path is? So actually everyone knows about it, but not everyone knows that they know about it. And not everyone who actually knows about it wants to know any more about it. And then you have those who can't find out enough about it. They reach that point on their journey that what they're finding and discovering in certain terms are pieces of the puzzle to the rest of their life, and they know that. So they are not aimlessly searching for, say, walking on a so-called spiritual path.
You were saying something about the path as revealing itself and being these revelations being a sort of being like puzzle pieces.
Yes, exactly. The real question is, regarding this process, is it really that you are on your path, right? Your personal path, your self path? Or is there evidence to lead you to sense or know that the path you're on is a path you can't control? Is it just happening? Is it happening for itself by itself, and is it offending you in any way? Which often happens, right? Right, when the path itself offends you, it embarrasses you, blows your mind out, right? Does something completely shocking, and you know it's your path because you just experienced the shock, and you experienced what led up to it. And whether you're conscious enough of the choices and decisions that went into whatever it was that manifested as a shock, that depends on the individual. How well do you know your steps? Are you that conscious of your steps on the path that you're walking them with deliberation and complete responsibility for whatever comes of it? Question? See, because there will be those incidents, we can say, of mishaps or catastrophes that are very important parts of the path. People say, oh, this can't happen, it shouldn't have happened. But if we look very closely at the after effects of many mishaps, accidents, right, disasters, we'll see there's some more wisdom. People seem to be wiser for some strange reason. They seem to be better beings. They're put back together more, let's say, intelligently, more sanely than, let's say, the conditions that led up to the so-called break or the mishap, the interruption, the disaster. And all of these things are part of the path. They are the path. Everything that happens in your life is the path. Once you're conscious of moving from one level of consciousness to a higher level of understanding or a deeper level of, viewing, then you're on what could be called a creative, spiritual path, where you are recreating your life. You're no longer being the jerk you were before, and that's unacceptable to you and your people. So you want to be better, you want to do better, and you're committed to being a better being, a more real person with less garbage and baggage to bring to the table of life or to your friends and relatives. So who can be more than they've been? Who are you that you need to be better, deeper, more responsible, more awake, What are you that you need to get beyond? And when are you going to do it? That's the big one for most people. When can you make the leap? When can you confront the chasm? The gap? When are you going to do it? What's at risk if you don't do it? Take the leap to a higher level of reality. Can you afford not to do that? Good question. Will it take, as it does in many people's cases, death to wake you up, to help you make a more clear resolution, to go beyond your programming or your neuroses or your stupidity, whatever it might be in your case, Or are you now waking up to a deeper level as you listen to this and start to feel compassion for those that are around you that you may be neglecting, in fact, because you're so self-absorbed and so entangled in your psychoneuroses that you don't have time to sort out or properly recognize what you could be doing for the few around you that may in fact desperately need some objective association. So besides you hurting yourself, who else might you be hurting if you don't practice recovering your sanity, coming back down to earth and developing some sound ground in the attitude of finishing up this lifetime with high level of integrity and responsibility for you and for those close to you. In other words, can we recognize that our path consists of, and that's the spiritual path or the occupational path, the social relational path, or whatever you want to call it, life path, of cutting back on things, going deeper. Maybe a little less distraction and entertainment. Maybe, no one says for sure. There could be entertainment that could actually enhance your self-consciousness in the way of creative spiritual practice. So you need you, but who else needs you in a certain way? Right. We're not talking about others in terms of peeps. Because there are no others that need you the way you need you in the spiritual sense of the word. Needing. See? You need to realize the full potential of your being and your nature and your creative, let's say, responsibilities. What you are creating out here. Not so much who you're creating whatever it is for, but what you are creating out here for whomever it is. See? What your purpose is, what your service is. So, yeah. At what level is that? At what level does it need to be? It's another question about choice and the spiritual path, or whatever the life path is, if you want to call it. See? Yeah. And the question arose earlier whether or not, well, the path is created for you, and then the path creates you. And that there is some kind of plan that seems to be showing up in little pieces of the puzzle, see, of recognizing that there's something bigger than yourself that's going on. Something more deep and more confounding than yourself and its choices, or what appear to be choices, which may not be choices after all. Maybe more bad habitual programming. So we need to know what a choice is. We need to know where that choice is coming from. And we need to know if it's really coming from a deeper place for them, for the self, say, or for the soul, or for the spirit, say, reality, in whatever case it is. Earlier, the question was posed. Can you choose? Of course you can choose. What do you choose, though? It's not a matter of if you choose, but what you choose. So it's the what you choose that really creates perhaps the consequence of having chosen wrongly, so to speak. In retrospect. Yeah, I made a real serious choice, but the results are not favorable, acceptable. That was dumb. It was a dumb choice. Well, could be. Maybe after a few dumb choices, properly cognized or perceived, that you start to make the right choices. And see a difference. So you can shape up, you can choose to shape up your choices. And your choosing process, as a result of seeing the results. Now, often, in the process of inspecting, the process of choosing, we have to be able to understand sometimes desire is good, sometimes it isn't. You need to make sure you know in what case the desire is good, in its effect, in the result or the consequence. So this is a creative process. The spiritual side of things, and I don't mean the hocus pocus side, the spiritual process that I'm speaking about has to do with consciousness. The conscious process. It's like knowing without any doubt what it is that's going to come of what you're doing. And certainly when good intentions are at the base of it, that could be very useful in the long run to know this is good. I want to share goodness, I want to enjoy it. Knowing that I'm bringing goodness to other people. Without personal contamination or egoic sort of manipulation involved in it. So we can go deeper into, let's say, something we would call more in the heart's domain, where things are actually happening pretty much by themselves, for themselves, and you're just a witness, in a manner of speaking. Which is not a bad place to be. So your ego is not involved, but your heart is involved. But we're not talking about your emotions as such. So intelligence is involved. Do we get to a level of intelligence where the heart is really all that's going on? Mm-hmm. 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 The heart is all that's going on. We can say it, we can feel it, we can sense it. Then we can know it. Mm-hmm. And from the light of that, we can see the silliness that our personality brings to the situation, our childishness, our immaturity and nonsense that we add to the situation, our stupidity, which we love so much. And that's something we need to back down somehow, peel away. We can be more straight up, more noble, more honorable, say, more heroic. Let's say if we can do that, we can be more clear, more heartfelt, say, in our dealings with people, and more free of karma. It's not about engaging more, so there's more karma in the cesspool. Oh, this is my heart thing, so we're all going to rub hearts together. That's not necessarily what it is about. We're talking about being intelligent enough to create lightness, not heaviness. See, lightness, not complication. See, fuzziness. See, lightness, not more of a type of emotion that doesn't see for itself. Mm-hmm. There are those, maybe not many, who can say that they see and understand the spiritual as the peeling away of the material, rather than the movement towards ultimately being overwhelmed by the material. That's all that's real for them. Because it's easy to say it's all spiritual. And we can paint the situation with any words that come to our fancy so we can look good and feel better about it. But the spiritual is non-material. So you have to be really developing a finer sense of reality so you can see how much of the spiritual is real in your case and how much of the materialism is more real in your case and weighing you down as a result. See? If we say the real spiritual, we're talking about a lightness of being. See? Lightness. Joyousness. See? Okayness. Mm-hmm. Being open to wisdom and paradox. Yeah. Not necessarily settling for the idea of going deeper, but the actual experience of it. See? Being deepness. See? Beyond the personal and the karmic and the facial. See? Going deeper to the impersonal. Right? Faceless. Mm-hmm. And the profound. Okay. The heart ground, the profound heart ground. Mm. The profound sound of the heart ground. Mm-hmm. Mm. It's good practice. Mm-hmm. From that place when all your friends abandon you, then it's good practice. Mm. You're better off. Excellent.
When at some point on the path all your friends actually do abandon you, what's left?
The possibility of real friends. People who understand, who are not repulsed by, whatever you as an individual need to go through to find your peace, your balance, see, your resonance with the universe, see, or the heart. See. Such friends that abandon you, so to speak, should be completely, I guess you might say, acceptable as going their own way. Whatever their own way is, because obviously they're more interested in their own way than your way. The hot way, there is a hot way. It has nothing to do with the self or ego or whatever else anyone wants to throw in that mix. There is the hot way. And then you see there's no abandonment, ultimately. People just go their way. They may or may not come back, but there's no abandonment. But it's a good figure of speech to throw in there, because people are repulsed by too many, say, serious demands upon their style. They don't want to be too real or too enlightened too soon. It's no later for that. Too young for that. It's too demanding. Can't give up what it demands, whatever that could be, right? What could it be? If there's no self to begin with, what could it be? What kind of burden would it put on the self, right? If there is none to begin with, it's a good question. So, if in fact the theory is that there is no self, and that there is such a thing as a heart, hardness, or the heart self, let's say for the sake of conversation, called the heart self. Who's being that? Who can be that? Who in the room is being that? Who cares about that to be it? What's that again? By being the heart self, more so than the egoic self. The self-limited one. The self of limitation. Heartless limitation. Not heartfelt, heartful. Non-limitation. But I won't do that, I can't do that, I don't want to wear this, I can't wear that, and I can't look like this, I can't do that, and so if I go out looking like that, nobody's going to like me, and I have to fix myself up to look better and better and better. For who? For what? Who cares? Who cares about your appearance? Who cares about anyone who's hiding behind themselves, a mask of something? Who cares? Okay. So for practitioners, it's about unmasking, opening, and being vulnerable to the deeper spiritual reality that's there for the embrace, the heart embrace. Who wants to be that true? Who wants to be that real? Who wants to be that here? That open? Maybe a real friend. But then who needs a friend if you can be your own friend? You maybe should be your own friend. So clearly anything said or imaged is subject to interpretation. Every word is subject to that. So we have to have what could be considered the correct interpretation. And that could be of a book, right? Correct interpretation. So does one have the correct, if there is such a thing, interpretation of what it is? Or is there no interpretation, say, worthy of interpretation in the case of what it is? So the idea of the spiritual path frightens people away because they don't really know what it is. They don't know what it demands. See? They don't know how it goes. Which way? Which way does that mean? What is there to be afraid of? That's the funniest part. Who is there to be afraid of but you? You should be afraid of you. Not anybody else, but you should be afraid of you because you're the one that is the source of everything that's going on. The you is it, right? One's personal I am and my me and, all of that. Self. Dissolved. Yeah. Yeah. Toasted. Gone. Clears the way, see, for the universe, see, to have a say. The heart is the universe. The universe is the heart. Big proposition, right? So, incomprehensible. But for practitioners, I say it's common sense. It's simple. This is it. Very simple. Too simple. Leave me alone. Bother me later. This is too simple. Come in. So, it is here. And whether or not one can be here, say, just be here, say, like a stop point, a be here now point. Feeling your hands, your knees, your ankles, and your rump on the chair. See? Just being present. See? Feeling the floor even, basic. Very basic presence training, right? For babies. The babies. This is your nose. These are your lips. This is your chinny chin. These are your ears and your hair, coming into clear, center. For the moment, just the center. Breathing deeply, calmly, and relaxedly. See, deep, gentle breathing. See, bringing you into zero. Peace. For a moment, right? Just a stop point. That's all. Stop point. Peace. There's only the void as source. The void was source, At your conception, the void was source. It wasn't about mother, father, body. No, it's body of light. See? Void was source. See? Nirvana, void. See? It's a source now. It's called spirit. It's void now. It's pure. Pure spirit being. Void, of course, right now. Void now. See? We act like we are other than that, but that's not true. See? We act falsely and preoccupiedly. See? As a result of karma. So, no problem. In your karmic mode, right? And there's no doubt you have to get back to the mode of no karma. See? The void. See? The nirvanic mode of the heart itself. Void. Spirit. Pure. It's not a religious thing, about one religion over the other religion. It's more language. Semantics. See? Pure. Having no sense of the pure, say beyond your neuroses, your mask of self, and so on. Pure being. See? And tonight, before you go to rest, you can prepare yourself to go right back to it. Your super unconsciousness. And then it spits you out in the morning, back into this dimension of noise, sound, self, world, and suffering. And the peace you're looking for is already always there. It's always at your source. It's always deep, deep into the heart itself. I have no doubt about it. You don't even need to think about it. You know that. We are the void, pretending to not be the void. We are nirvanic beings, but we pretend not to be. We are pure spirit in nature, but we pretend not to be that. We are the end we avoid. Say, know you not that there is a kingdom with... yeah. Well, know you not that you avoid the kingdom? And you have every right to, because you are the cosmos, cosmic, as well as the transcendent, the inner spiritual. Right? You are the theatrical human noise, self-noise. But what is the source? The source is there. The source is void. You can't avoid the void. Because it's all the void. So, without the void, you have nothing. And it is nothing, in the highest sense. What did you dream about last night? Nothing. Where were you for 7 hours? Nowhere. Bingo. Back to source. No doubt. Comment.
So is each thought void?
Absolutely. Right. Each thought is not a thought. Right. So you're void of thought, void of feeling. And yet, as a human, you can have all of that. But what is it? See? It's void. It's void of reality, but it shows up. Right. Right. All of the dimensions show up, but they're void of reality. Yet they show up, like everything appearing. Same thing. And hence it is said, then it's really the body of light you're looking at. Everywhere. Your perception is via light. It's through light. You're perceiving light from light, and you have to know that. At some point, you can realize it, and then live your life. What is the path now? Is it all your drama and your karma, your suffering, your worries, your concerns? Or is it something that's more than that? That you know it's more than that. What could be greater than all that stuff, if not Source? The real mother. The real womb, say, of the universe. Herself. Going back to that, what have you? Even from your ordinary state, in the moment, going back to that, because it's always here, what have you? Who are you? What is it? That's the path. That's the basis. That's the meditation and the result of what the true and real and only path is. See? See? What is being said here sounds too easy to be true, too easy to be seen seriously. Talking about the void, Source. The super unconscious. Super unconscious is present. It's never not here. It is always here. It's the all-knowing nothing. See? Knowing yourself is true deep sleep, simultaneously being awake. You're awake to being unconscious. You're awake as the unconscious. But that's not enough for people. So yeah, so what? Yeah, so I'm awake. Now I got my problems here. Nothing's disappeared yet. Well, nothing was let go of. How's it going to disappear? So no one's asking I guess you might say the audience to let go of what you can't afford to let go of, because if the unconscious is always here, the super unconscious, right, is always here. There's nothing to let go of. It's already here. It is everything already. It's paradox. And the paradox includes the fact that since it is the is not, and the is not is what it is, what's there to suffer? There's nothing to suffer. Except appearances that show up in the experiential realm of human nature that you cling to and make more of than perhaps you ought to. Okay? Already gone. Always here, but already gone. See? Who can hear that? See? Who can do that? See? Who's already done that? Because from there the show's over. See? of unconscious negative acting and reacting, the show's over. So there's peace. And working from peace, living from peace. See? Functioning from peace. Not because it's an alien state, no, it's an original condition. It is what it means to be human being. See, fully human being means open to the subtle as real, open to the gross as real, and open beyond both as real. When you wake up, right, do you still conduct yourself in the manner of not having awakened? Are you the same? Can you be the same? What do you feel?
Right now? Just present?
There was a question. Yeah.
Oh.
Right, yeah.
No, I don't think it would be possible to conduct oneself in the same way with with the same stress. I think everything would be easy is not quite the word, but it's not amiss either.
You're saying you have a sense of it?
Yeah.
Well, how would it be then? If you have a sense of it, right? If you have a sense of you as it, how would it be in your situation? Everyone's dying to hear it.
Yeah, nothing in the way. I think that would be the subtle shift.
Nothing in the way of what?
Whatever needs to happen, happens without my getting in the way of it, without my...
You're hoping you could manage that, right? You're hoping that something takes over so you don't have to manage anything anymore. Well, I can do that. Well, that's for real. Right? But you have to engage in a lot of doing before it's willing to take over from you what it is that you would do yourself. And that's what practice is. The investment in the no self, the non-self, so that it can do what it needs to do, and that's going to lose the audience right now. Well, for a moment. But not really. Because you're not the self, you're also the non-self. You're more the non-self than you are the self that you act as. And you want others to believe you to be. Which is just an amalgamation of different sort of programs. Self-satisfying programs. Imagery programs. How you look, how you feel. How you're supposed to be, right? How you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to feel. According to this person or that person. The matrix of all of the appearances, right? All of the theatrics. Well, it's amazing how we disguise ourselves so well, so adeptly, right? But we don't know ourselves anywhere near as wisely or adeptly. Comment? Now, everyone is experiencing the void, the pure spirit reality, at a maybe lowest intensity, Because you're getting around, you're doing what you have to do, you're comfortably preoccupied with yourself as all important. And that's because it grants you that, let's say. It hasn't pulled the plug on you yet. So you're free to do that. In other words, you're free to waste your lifetime, or you're free to awaken in this lifetime to what it is that is your source. Your source presently. Not sort of abstractly in the heavens somewhere else, in the universe is beyond this. What use is that? Say, that's no use to anybody. Practically so. No use. Present. As part of your breathing and this sense that your body is light, which is not a myth. It's not a theory, it's not an opinion. We're electronic beings, right? Electromagnetic beings. So not far from any fact. It really is the case. See? This is an electrodynamic, right? Electromagnetic process. Yin yang. Integration. And the traditions, the best of the traditions have it right, that heart meditation, relative to whatever, is guiding a person, is incredibly useful. Heart. See, not just your pump, but the heart center itself, which is centerless, which is the beauty of it. It's the centerless center of now. And this is what is at stake or at risk for anybody that's a practicing or non-practicing religious or semi-religious individual on the path of, let's say, attaining some kind of communion with their Lord or whatever it is. See, to them, as if to say the Lord is outside of them, which means, they have no Lord inside of them. There's no inner Lord, really.
Seems like when I'm sitting with you, it goes way beyond the sharing of information and the theory, the stories, the imagination. And I am offered the opportunity to have this experience myself directly, to become familiar, to become intimate with the realization behind and what is speaking actually through you.
Yeah. It's always that close. It's even closer than that. It's not even with. It just is. Yeah, and there's no place either, see, except here, so to speak, wherever your here is. Right? Everyone is, I guess you might say, responsible to their own here-ness, their own beingness, and their own nowness, right? Which is, all of these are the eternals. Right? They're like the trinity of eternals, beingness, here-ness, and nowness. All of it, the beauty of it. And sensing true nature, or spirit nature, pure spirit nature, present in the moment. Whether it speaks for itself through this or any other way, or means, or medium. No one cares. It's not about that. It's not about the appearance, it's about the presence. See, the reality of the presence. See, and that's what shapes the heart, and that's what causes the vibrations to alter and move into a certain direction. So it's not merely appearance. It's the sound. It's the word. And where the word comes from, if there could be a place it could come from, beyond what it is, which is silence. Silence is Lord. Silence is transcendence. Silence is pure spirit being. Don't believe it. Know it for yourself.